stands for trust. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Maha Kumbh, the festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Maha Kumbh 2025.
The annual General Council meeting of the AIADMK will take place in Tiruvallur district today, though this meeting is held as per the rules of the Election Commission. Remember, it happens in the backdrop of a group clashes that occurred during the field inspection of senior leaders in various parts of the state. Remember, O. Paneerselvam and certain former functionaries of the AIADMK are also demanding a unified party. My colleague Sam joins us with more details. Sam, this is also the first General Council meeting after the party had faced severe blows in the Lok Sabha elections.
That will be the key significant discussion if at all anything takes place in this General Council meeting of the AIADMK RC, because the party suffered a rout in the 2024 Lok Sabha election, a third in the row, beginning with the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, then the 2021 Assembly elections and 2024 Lok Sabha elections after Jayalalitha died. And the party sources say the party will adopt resolutions taking on the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu and the BJP at the centre. Besides, these resolutions could also reflect the party's sentiment, both in terms of the expectations from the cadre, in terms of whispers asking for a unified AIADMK, bringing together the other leaders like OPS, Sasikala and Dinakaran. Secondly, also in terms of the recent friction or minor clashes witnessed during the party leadership's attempt to reach out to different district office bearers to get a sense of what they expect. We'll have to wait and see whether that will be reflected in the resolution. But technically, it's a mandatory requirement, but certainly some measures to strengthen the party and to revive the party also will be taken through these resolutions. Artik.
Right. Thank you for joining us, Sam, and bringing us those details. A friendly cricket match between Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla's team and Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar's team will be played today at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. The 20-over cricket match titled TB Mukt Bharat Awareness Cricket Match is set to begin at around 9 a.m. today. The Lok Sabha Speaker 11 team will be captained by Anurag Thakur, while the Rajya Sabha Chairman 11 team will be led by Kiran Rijiju. My colleague Tanushka joins us from the stadium. Tanushka, take us through the preparations underway for this friendly cricket match.
Right, Aarti, I'm currently at the Major Dhyan Chand Stadium at the very cricket ground where this TB Mukt Bharat Awareness Friendship match is going to start at 9 a.m. As you can see around me here, I'll ask my camera person to pan and show you how the cricket pitch is being set up at this moment. This match is going to be, between the Lok Sabha speakers and members of parliament and the Rajya Sabha members of parliament. The Lok Sabha Speaker 11 team will be captained by MP Anurag Singh Thakur, while the Rajya Sabha Chairman 11 will be led by Union Minister Kiran Rijiju. And what we're also understanding is that right now, of course, this is of course about the tuberculosis awareness. This is a friendship match that is happening between both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha MPs. And even the Speaker of Lok Sabha, Mr. Om Birla, is expected to be here and arrive here shortly. As you can see behind me as well, there are separate booths for the Lok Sabha team as well as for the Rajya Sabha team. So these are the arrangements that are happening here at Major Dhyan Chand Stadium for this match that is set to begin at 9 a.m. And the toss between both the teams is to happen at 9:15 a.m. After which shortly the match will begin, as you know, with view of awareness on tuberculosis.
Right. Thank you, Tanushka, for joining us and bringing us those details. Continue tracking the story as it develops. Now, proud moment for NDTV as the network has bagged 38 awards in the News Television Awards. Battleground with Sanjay Pugalia wins Best Televised Live Initiative by a News Channel. 9 Years of Modi documentary wins the Best News Documentary Limited episodes. Left, Right, Centre has won the Best News Debate Show, and the Best Primetime Show award went to The Last Word.
As the winner is Battleground with Sanjay Pugalia by NDTV India. Let's hear it up, please. Many congratulations, Gaurav. Systems helping Pune Brad get away with murder for Left, Right and Centre by NDTV 24/7. Mario Shakil for The Last Word by NDTV 24/7. Joining us to receive that beautiful trophy for the fabulous work and hard work put in. News channel, website English, the winner is ndtv.com. Vishnu Som for Left, Right and Centre. Congratulations, thank you so much.
We'll continue tracking these stories for you. For now, a short break.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
NDTV Indian of the Year 2024.
NDTV नेटवर्क की तरफ से मैं आप सब लोगों का बहुत स्वागत करना चाहता हूं.
Celebrating the extraordinary.
Thank you, jury. बहुत धन्यवाद करना.
Honoring those who shape India's future.
For me, it is a great privilege to participate.
NDTV Indian of the Year. Only on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
To the state of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Maha Kumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Maha Kumbh 2025.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
In Prime Minister Modi's reply to the Constitution debate, he said the essence of the Constitution is unity in diversity. He slammed the Congress and said emergency trampled on the rights of people. Opposition reacts to Prime Minister's speech in Parliament. Priyanka Gandhi says it felt like a double math period. Akhilesh Yadav makes a jumla jibe at the Prime Minister. 500 stranded Indigo passengers from both flights have landed safely back to Delhi and Mumbai from Istanbul. In the Bengaluru Techie suicide case, Atul Subhash's wife Nikita has been arrested. The Bengaluru police make 3 arrests in total in the case. Cabinet expansion of the newly elected BJP-led Mahayuti government in Maharashtra is set to take place today with the oath-taking ceremony in Nagpur. Sri Lankan President Desanarke is in India on a 2-day visit, marking his first overseas trip since assuming office. NDTV wins big at the NT Awards Battleground with Sanjay Pugalia wins 2 awards, Left, Right and Centre wins Best Debate Show. The Last Word wins Best Primetime News Show and NDTV Network wins 38 awards in total. Now, the leadership challenge continues to loom over the India bloc as ally Omar Abdullah now questions the Congress and asks them to justify the position as leading the India bloc. Jammu and Kashmir CM Omar Abdullah said that there is a sense of disquiet in the India bloc and said the Congress is not doing enough to earn the role of leadership. Remember, there were questions over Congress's leadership earlier as well when one of the MPs had pitched the name of Mamata Banerjee as the leader for the India bloc. Listen to what Omar Abdullah had to say.
Look, by virtue of the fact that they're the India bloc is a national alliance.
Sure.
By virtue of being the single largest party in parliament and also having the leader of the opposition in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, the fact that they have a pan-India footprint, which no other party can lay claim to, they are natural sort of leaders of an opposition movement. That said, that position has to be earned. it cannot be taken for granted. And therefore, I think the disquiet that you sense in some of the allies is because they feel that the position that has been given to the Congress is now, they're not doing enough to justify it or to earn it or to keep it. That's something the Congress might wish to consider. Yeah. But otherwise, sort of a leader of the stature of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, you don't have in any other political party, let's face it. And she does play an important part in the India bloc. She may not do much with the day-to-day running of the Congress party, but when the India bloc comes together, she does play an important leadership role.
My colleague Nazir joins us with more details. Nazir, now in terms of the Congress and the India bloc, already there were questions being raised from the side of the TMC over their leadership. Now their ally Omar Abdullah also raising questions.
Well, on one hand, Omar Abdullah is talking about Congress's pan-national footprint, pan-India footprint, and it is the largest party, be it in the Parliament or in the Rajya Sabha. And then he talks about the sense of disquiet among the India bloc leaders. And he has been also talking about how there's no actually contact between the constituents of the India bloc. For example, the last meeting that was held of India bloc members was after the Parliament election. So since then, there has not been any. Now we see Mamata Banerjee's claim that she can lead. There are people like Sharad Pawar, others, they have actually backed in a sense that. So there has been sense of disquiet, and in fact, the Congress leadership actually been put on notice by the members, India bloc members. So Omar Abdullah also talking about that they have to justify their leadership, and they have to earn that leadership role as well. So clearly, Congress has a challenge, when though the India bloc may not have done well in the recent elections, particularly Maharashtra and Haryana, and they have badly lost it. And that has actually raised several questions whether they can lead in the future elections. When we have Bihar elections already in Delhi, there's no alliance between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, though both Aam Aadmi Party is part of the India bloc. But when it comes to real politics, they are fighting with each other.
Right, Nazir, thank you for joining us and bringing us those details. I'm being joined by Kapil Madan, political analyst. Thank you for joining us, sir. At this point, again, Congress being questioned in terms of their leadership. Although Omar Abdullah has said that Sonia Gandhi's role in the India bloc is quite big, there have been, remember, questions raised earlier as well over the Congress's leadership and Mamata Banerjee being put up as a potential alternate leader.
Well, in any, opposition coalition, you will have different leaders who will have, different thought processes, different aspirations. So I don't see, this, in a, negative, light, because if the leaders are speaking about their voices openly about the fact that, if they, have a different thought about the leadership, it shows that you have, in opposition, you have a space where every voice is being heard and everyone is entitled to share their view, and then you take a decision, what is the collective decision of the opposition, and you have to take everyone forward.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Madan, for joining us and sharing your thoughts on this development. We have breaking news coming in that the Bengaluru Techie Atul Subhash's wife Nikita Singhania and two other family members have been arrested by the Bengaluru police. Remember, Atul Subhash in his suicide statement accused Nikita Singhania and her family of harassment, as well as various other charges which he explicitly stated that are responsible for his suicide. My colleague Nihal joins us with more details. Nihal, take us to the latest coming in. We're learning that Nikita Singhania as well as her brother and another family member have been arrested.
Yeah, Atul Singhania, the AI engineer, had accused his wife Nikita Singhania, mother, as well as Nikita Singhania's brother and his uncle. His uncle is absconding. Nikita Singhania has been arrested from Gurgaon, what we have come to know, and the remaining two, means Nikita's mother and her brother, both have been arrested from Allahabad. all the four accused had approached Allahabad High Court for anticipatory bail, and it was supposed to come up for hearing in the coming week. Meanwhile, the Bengaluru police, in coordination with the Uttar Pradesh police, have arrested these three. Still, the A4, who is Nikita Singhania's uncle, is still at large. He is absconding, and police is searching and trying to arrest him. All the three accused out of four, those who have been arrested, were produced before the magistrate, and they have been sent to judicial custody, as they have been arrested from two different places. Later, the police would take their custody and bring them to Bengaluru, because as per the notice that was served to them through their relative, and it was pasted on their residential premises, it is clearly written that once the notice is served, within 3 days after serving the notice, they were supposed to turn up before the circle officer or the SHO, you can say, of Marathanahalli police station, where the abetment of suicide case was registered. Atul Singhania had died by suicide on 9th of December, and his body was found hanging in his apartment. So now it's a big lead police team, Bengaluru police team was camping there in Uttar Pradesh, and they were in constant touch with their counterparts in Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, as per the CDR call data records. So now it's now Bengaluru police, a senior police officer, said that soon they will be brought to Bangalore.
Right. Thank you, Nihal, for joining us and bringing us those details. Prime Minister Modi delivered nearly a 2-hour-long speech responding to the constitution debate. Prime Minister said that the constitution makers' focus was on unity in diversity. And during his speech, the Prime Minister also tore into the Congress, targeting the Gandhi family. He said that it was the Congress which has attacked the constitution, and that Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia and Rahul Gandhi all did their bit. Listen to some of the key excerpts from his speech.
संविधान के 25 वर्ष पूरे कर रहा था, उसी समय हमारे देश में संविधान को नोच लिया गया, इमरजेंसी आपातकाल लाया गया, संवैधानिक व्यवस्थाओं को समाप्त कर दिया गया, देश को जेल खाना बना दिया गया, नागरिकों के अधिकारों को लूट लिया गया, प्रेस की स्वतंत्रता को ताले लगा दिए गए, और कांग्रेस के माथे पर जो पाप है ना, वो कभी भी धुलने वाला नहीं है, कभी भी धुलने वाला। यह सब हिंदुता है। दुनिया में जब जब लोकतंत्र की चर्चा होगी, कांग्रेस के माथे का ये पाप कभी धुलने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि लोकतंत्र का गला घोंट दिया गया था। मैं आज यहां किसी की व्यक्तिगत आलोचना करना नहीं चाहता, लेकिन तथ्यों को देश के सामने रखना जरूरी है, और इसलिए मैं तथ्यों को रखना चाहता हूं। कांग्रेस के एक परिवार ने संविधान को चोट पहुंचाने में कोई कोर कसर नहीं छोड़ी है। और मैं इसलिए एक परिवार का उल्लेख करता हूं कि 75 साल की हमारी यात्रा में 55 साल एक ही परिवार ने राज किया है। इसलिए देश को क्या क्या हुआ है ये जानने का अधिकार है। हर स्तर पर इस परिवार ने संविधान को चुनौती दी।
The opposition MPs reacted to Prime Minister's speech, while some MPs called it boring. Some said it sounded like the speech of an RSS leader. Listen in.
The Prime Minister should know that Congress party only has given him all rights with this constitution, with the national flag and national anthem and independence And that is why when independence has been given to him and democracy has been given, now he is the Prime Minister of this country. The same voice, without giving him an opportunity, getting the freedom to him, to the nation, or the constitution, he could have become the Prime Minister of this country.
ऐसा स्पीच प्राइम मिनिस्टर को नहीं शोभा देता है. इट इज अ स्पीच ऑफ अ शाखा प्रमुख कॉर्पोरेटर लेवल. ही इज जस्ट वो गरिमा नहीं रही है प्राइम मिनिस्टर. जो पोजीशन होती है सबसे पावरफुल पोजीशन होती है नहीं रही. एंड नॉट इवन वंस आई एम शॉक्ड हैज ही यूज्ड द वर्ड सेक्युलर. ही इज जस्ट प्लेइंग अ ब्लेम गेम. और जो कांग्रेस ने नींव संविधान की रखी थी उसी के बदौलत आज ही प्रधानमंत्री बने हैं, वो नहीं भूलना.
Prime Minister also stated that it was the constitutional bench's idea that uniform civil code should be implemented, and this government will bring the UCC in the country.
No, that is all, that is there in the discussion. It was there in the Constituent Assembly. But that has not given a specific suggestion also. They just mentioned that government can decide. At the same time, when the government means, it's not that kind of majority. Inclusive kind of thinking should be there. Collective wisdom should be there. If that is not there, then what is the kind of unanimous kind of thing he is saying? There's no meaning in it.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was E.T. Mohammed Bashir, IUML MP, speaking to NDTV.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi led the charge from the opposition in the constitution debate, taking a dig at the Sangh Parivar. He said that in the country, it will be run based on the constitution and not the Manusmriti. He also made a fresh pitch for social justice. Listen to what Rahul Gandhi said, as well as the political reactions to his speech.
Political equality, but no social and economic equality. Political equality will be destroyed. ये अंबेडकर जी के शब्द हैं और आज ये बात सबके सामने है. पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी जो थी वो खत्म हो गई है. हिंदुस्तान के सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस कैप्चर कर लिए गए हैं. सोशल इक्वालिटी नहीं रही, फाइनेंशियल इकोनॉमिक इक्वालिटी नहीं रही. इसीलिए हमारा अगला कदम जाति जनगणना होगा. जो मैंने वायदा किया था, इसी हाउस में यहां हम कास्ट सेंसस लागू करेंगे और उसके बाद हिंदुस्तान में एक नए तरीके का विकास होगा, एक नई तरीके की राजनीति होगी.
आप अगर देखें तो एलओपी जो बात कर रहे थे उसमें बिल्कुल भी संविधान के बारे में वो कुछ नहीं जिक्र कर रहे थे. वो सिर्फ अपनी राजनीतिक महत्वाकांक्षा या फिर उसको कैसे उजागर करे उसके लिए उनका प्रयास चल रहा था. आज के दिन संविधान के रचयिता आदरणीय बाबा साहब जी अम्बेडकर साहब हो या फिर वो संविधान समिति हो, उन सभी का गौरव करने की आज ज़रूरत थी, उनको नमन करने की ज़रूरत थी. और जिस माध्यम से आज दुनिया की अर्थसत्ता 5वीं अर्थसत्ता बन के भारत उभरा है, उसका मूल कारण कुछ हो तो अपना संविधान है. ये डेमोक्रेटिक स्ट्रक्चर जो चल रहा है वो संविधान की वजह से चल रहा है. इस मूल तत्व को बाजू में रखते हुए वो सिर्फ अपनी राजनीति रोटी सेकने का काम कर रहे थे.
Congress leader Manishankar Iyer has in fact put out some advice that he says that he's giving to the Congress. He said Congress's own cast have cast doubt on the party's leadership role. He says that the Congress must not aspire for the India bloc leadership and that they must give equal respect to allies. The Congress leader also said that maybe that's asking for the moon. Listen in. Right, we'll play out that bite shortly, but this is what Congress's leader Manishankar Iyer has said.
Congress, I've said this before, should stoop to conquer. And how should it stoop to conquer? By accepting to be part of an anti-BJP alliance, which becomes an anti-BJP coalition government. But for that, in my opinion, there are two conditions necessary. One is that the Congress should not aspire to the leadership of the alliance, at least while we are in opposition. And secondly, it should give equal respect to everyone in the opposition bloc and not allow controversies to develop with them over local issues. Maybe that's asking for the moon. And I was therefore delighted when the India Alliance came into existence, because that's exactly what I had advocated. But the India bloc has not been converted. It almost succeeded in the 2024 Lok Sabha election, when we came only 10 seats behind the BJP, only 10 seats. If we had consolidated the alliance better than we did, then we would have been, as a bloc, the single biggest party in parliament. We could have changed history or reversed history within 10 years of the BJP coming in.
The cabinet expansion of the Devendra Fadnavis-led Bharatiya Janata Party government in Maharashtra set to take place today, with the new ministers taking oath of office at a ceremony in Nagpur. Remember, this comes ahead of the week-long winter session of the state legislature that is slated to begin in Nagpur. My colleague Anuj joins us with more details. Anuj, take us to the latest coming in. The question of balancing portfolio is also the big question as the new ministers are going to be taking oath.
Well, that is going to be the major concern. We see that the ministerial expansion that is going to happen this afternoon in Nagpur, all eyes will be on the key portfolios, be it home, be it finance, revenue, amongst others. Of course, home is expected to stay with Devendra Fadnavis, but it is revenue and finance that has become a major point of contention. We saw that after Eknath Shinde let go of his claim on the position of chief ministership, sources suggested that he made it very clear that he would not want Ajit Pawar to hold finance if he is not holding home ministry. But it will be interesting to see whether the Bharatiya Janata Party will agree to his demand, considering that the backlash, which has come from the NCP or a few leaders from the NCP has been very strong if in case Ajit Pawar is denied finance ministry. Besides that, we also saw that several important ministers may not get repeated this time around, and that is solely on the basis of the kind of performance and the efforts they put in the last election when it comes to campaigning, not for just their own constituency but for the party across. We have also seen how the leaders of all the three parties have time and again spoken about several parameters will be kept in mind when ministerial expansion will happen, and that includes the kind of statements made in public or the mobilization, the efforts put in the mobilization for Mahayuti as a whole and not just for that one particular political party. But while a majority of the leaders who were the ministers last time around are expected to repeat, but there are a few surprises in the bag is what sources suggest as well. A major contention or a major issue for Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena mostly would be about satisfying the majority of their MLAs. We saw that last time around when he had a good stake at the 43 ministerial berths in the Mahayuti 1.2 government, he had the support of 41 MLAs. This time around, the number of MLAs has increased, and hence to make sure that everyone is kept as happy as they can be kept, we can also see a pattern of rotation when it comes to giving ministerial berths, and that is something that might be on cards later on. But as of today, we're expecting as many as 20 ministerial berths to go with the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is the lion's share, followed by Shiv Sena, which might be having 11 to 12, and then NCP, which would in all likeliness be having 7 plus 2, the 2 being the state ministries.
Thank you, Anuj, for joining us and bringing us those details. A friendly cricket match between Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla's team and Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar's team is being played today at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. The 20-over cricket match titled TB Mukt Bharat Awareness Cricket Match is set to begin shortly. The Lok Sabha Speaker 11 team will be captained by Anurag Thakur, while Rajya Sabha Chairman 11 will be led by Kiran Rijiju. My colleague Tanushka joins us with more details. Tanushka, before we head on to Tanushka, in fact, let me take you through this particular match. This is being played for awareness of tuberculosis, as it's titled TB Mukt Bharat Awareness Cricket Match. But interestingly, players will be from the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. MPs as well as Union Ministers are playing. In fact, the Rajya Sabha team is being headed by Union Minister Kiran Rijiju, while MP Anurag Thakur will be leading the Lok Sabha team. Preparations are underway at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. In fact, for this particular match, it's going to be a 20-over cricket match. It's a friendly cricket match that's being played between both sides. The visuals that you were seeing on your screen earlier were of the leaders, especially Anurag Thakur as well as Kiran Rijiju, who had gone to Om Birla to invite him to be the chief guest for the event. So Om Birla will be the chief guest of the event. His team is that of the Lok Sabha team that will be captained by Anurag Thakur. Tanushka joins us from the stadium. Tanushka, take us through the preparations there. The cricket match is set to begin shortly, is what we're learning.
Yes, Aarti, and the members of parliament are already pouring in. I'm currently being joined by member of parliament in the Lok Sabha, Chandrasekhar Azad. Sir, how are you looking forward to the match here? कितने time बाद आप pitch पे आ रहे हो?
देखिए, हम तो ग्रामीण क्षेत्र से आए हुए हैं, किसान के बेटे हैं, हम तो रोज ही पिच पे रहते हैं, बस पिच की तासीर अलग अलग होती है। आज एक क्रिकेट की पिच है, रोज हम जो हैं जनता के लिए लड़ने के लिए पार्लियामेंट की पिच पे या सड़क पे रहते हैं, तो हम ड्यूटी कर रहे हैं। ये भी हमारी ड्यूटी है कि जो बुराइयां हैं, जो परेशानियां हैं, जो बीमारियां हैं, उनके खिलाफ भी एक मजबूत लड़ाई लड़ी जाए, और ये बिना अवेयरनेस के कामयाब नहीं हो सकती। आज का जो कार्यक्रम है वो अवेयरनेस के लिए है, और मेरा विश्वास है कि इसका बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा जो है इस बीमारी से लड़ने के लिए देश के लोगों को होगा।
Thank you so much, sir. So that was Chandrasekhar Azad. All the members of the parliament here are gearing up for the match. And of course, the cause here in concern is that of tuberculosis. This match is tuberculosis awareness friendship match between the Lok Sabha members of parliament and the Rajya Sabha members of parliament. Dipender Singh Hooda is also present here currently. So all the MPs are pouring in, and the toss is also, to happen soon and shortly. And the arrangements are also on. These are the two booths behind me, one for the Lok Sabha Speakers team, the other for the Rajya Sabha Speakers team. The Rajya Sabha Speakers team will be headed and captained by Union Minister Kiran Rijiju, and Lok Sabha's team will be captained by Anurag Singh Thakur. So looking forward to this match at this point for the TB awareness. Back to studio.
Thank you, Tanushka, for joining us and bringing us those details from the ground. We'll continue tracking these stories for you. For now, a short break.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
He replies to the Constitution debate in the Parliament, says the Constitution's focus is on unity and diversity. Opposition MPs react to the Prime Minister's speech. Priyanka calls it double math period. Akhilesh Yadav takes a Jumla jibe. 500 stranded Indigo passengers from both flights land safely in Delhi and Mumbai from Istanbul. Cabinet expansion of the newly elected BJP-led Mahayuti government set to take place in Nagpur.
NDTV Indian of the Year 2024.
NDTV नेटवर्क की तरफ से मैं आप सब लोगों का बहुत स्वागत करना चाहता हूं।
Celebrating the extraordinary.
Thank you, jury.
Honoring those who shape India's future.
For me, it is a great privilege to participate.
NDTV Indian of the Year. Only on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your lives.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi,
NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline. today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Maha Kumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Maha Kumbh 2025.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro. World's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, मैं गौरव एक बार वापस से आपका स्वागत करता हूं इन योर फेवरेट गैजेट शो. इट्स कॉल्ड गैजेट 360 विद टेक्निकल गुरु, जहां पे बेसिकली एवरी वीक आई कम टू यू और rather से you come to me, or basically we both come to each other to learn more about gadgets and technology, because बहुत कुछ नया मिलता है हमें हर वीक इन टर्म्स ऑफ न्यू लॉन्चेस, न्यू अपडेट्स. मेरी तरफ से आपके लिए सवालों के जवाब जो आपको मिल जाते हैं, सब कुछ एक साथ मिलता है इन एवरी एपिसोड, सो दैट आप गैजेट्स की दुनिया में खोए रहें और जब तक नए एपिसोड आए तब तक सोचें कि हाँ अब फ्यूचर में क्या होने वाला है. वेल, दिस वीक इज वेल आई हैव गॉट अमेजिंग स्टफ फॉर यू. काफी मजा आने वाला है, तो बिना टाइम वेस्ट किए जल्दी से आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलिए शुरू करते हैं. फ्रेंड्स, शुरुआत करते ही सबसे पहले गियर चेंज करके रिवर्स गियर लगाते हैं, बिकॉज हमको लेना है रीकैप इन टर्म्स to learn what happened in the past week of gadgets, because as I say they move really quick. जो आज लॉन्च हुआ वो कल सेल पे जाएगा, जो कल सेल पे गया वो परसों पुराना हो जाएगा. So we need to be updated. Let's see क्या हुआ इस पूरे हफ्ते में in the field of gadgets in this segment, news of the week.
Google has introduced its latest innovation in quantum computing, the Willow quantum processor. ये प्रोसेसर क्रिप्टोग्राफी, ड्रग डिस्कवरी और AI जैसे फील्ड्स को रेवोल्यूशनलाइज करने वाला है by exponentially increasing computational power. Realme is gearing up to launch its latest smartphone, the Realme 14X 5G in India. ये एक सब 20K स्मार्टफोन होगा जो ड्यूरेबिलिटी और अफोर्डेबिलिटी दोनों को टारगेट करेगा. The official launch date and details are expected to be revealed shortly. Xiaomi has expanded its portfolio into electric vehicles with the unveiling of the YU7 electric SUV in China. Featuring a sleek design, advanced autonomous driving capabilities and a competitive price point, pre-orders select markets में जल्द ही open होंगे. Apple has started rolling out iOS 18.2, bringing ChatGPT integration directly to its devices. इस अपडेट से यूजर्स OpenAI के कॉन्वर्सेशनल AI को Siri और सिस्टम फंक्शंस के थ्रू सीमलेसली एक्सेस कर पाएंगे. ये फीचर प्रोडक्टिविटी और डेली इंटरैक्शंस को और ज्यादा एनहांस करेगा। OpenAI has made Sora, its advanced AI video generation model, publicly available. Sora की मदद से यूजर्स सिंपल टेक्स्ट प्रॉम्प्ट से हाई क्वालिटी और रियलिस्टिक वीडियोस क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, विद एप्लीकेशंस रेंजिंग फ्रॉम कंटेंट क्रिएशन टू मार्केटिंग।
Friends, for the first story, let's fly to Europe. Let's fly to Germany. Stuttgart in Germany, जहाँ पे है Mercedes-Benz के headquarters. And वहाँ पे जब मैं गया, मैं आपको भी अपने साथ लेके जाने वाला हूँ and हम बात करने वाले हैं about the future of cars. Guys, this is some very exclusive piece just for you. For us to learn कि फ्यूचर में जो कार्स आने वाली हैं, जो मर्सिडीज डेवलप कर रहा है, उसमें क्या क्या टेक्नोलॉजीज होने वाली हैं, what all amazing features these cars would have, and how exactly the futures of cars looks like from the point of view of Mercedes-Benz. Let's go to Stuttgart to learn more about it. दोस्तों आज का जो ये वीडियो है ना, इट इज वेरी 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 स्पेशल एंड द रीजन इज कि मैं हूं फिलहाल मर्सिडीज के हेडक्वार्टर्स में इन स्टुटगार्ट जर्मनी और आज हम बात करने वाले हैं अबाउट द फ्यूचर एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ अ मर्सिडीज बेंज. Basically, what Mercedes is doing to kind of evolve all the vehicles, all the experiences in future. And आज का जो वीडियो है is quite exciting. तो आगे बढ़ते हैं और पता लगाते हैं कि what is cooking in this lab, because this is where the future is planned. Now friends, first things first, have a look at these three screens. ये जो है, this is the look of the future London in the 2040s कि फ्यूचर में लंदन कैसा होने वाला है, जहाँ पे वी हैव पीपल ऑन द साइड्स, यहाँ पे डिलीवरी रोबोट्स दिख रहे हैं, देयर आर स्मार्ट कार्स, कनेक्टेड कार्स, लाइक this is just a vision of the future. Next we have something similar for Los Angeles कि LA जो है वो फ्यूचर में कैसा होने वाला है. हॉलीवुड साइन हमको दिख रहा है, but then again if you see variety of cars, people walking with AR glasses, और यहाँ पे again it's a different experience of the future. Coming forward, we have the similar stuff for Shenzhen as well. I mean, looks like a complete futuristic city जहाँ पे we have the drone taxis as well. But the idea is कि यहाँ पे how exactly हमको मजा मिलेगा फ्यूचर में of all the cars and everything. Speaking of cars, have a look at this one. This is the Vision 111. मतलब ये लगता है कि किसी मूवी के सेट से निकल के यहाँ पे आई है या फिर यहाँ से किसी मूवी के सेट पे जा सकती है. बट द आइडिया इज दिस इज व्हाट वी आर सपोज्ड टू गेट सम टाइम इन फ्यूचर विद ऑल द टेक पैक्ड इन. और आज हमने देखा यहाँ पे अलग अलग एक्सपीरियंसेस. मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ एक एक करके क्विकली that what all things we saw in terms of new engineering, in terms of new experiences and stuff that would be really helpful for the cars of the future. एक और कार आपके सामने है. दिस इज द विजन EQXX and guys, this car officially holds the record of the most efficient electric vehicle ever. इसने एक सिंगल चार्ज में 1000 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा डिस्टेंस कवर किया. तो जस्ट इमेजिन कि कितनी ज्यादा एफिशिएंट ये कार है. वेरी एरोडायनामिक, बट व्हाट गेट्स बेटर आई विल शो यू इनसाइड. तो यहाँ पे अंदर हमारे पास में सबसे पहले वी टॉकिंग अबाउट द पावर कन्वर्टर. ये जो पूरा एक्सपीरियंस है, मतलब सी इफ यू टॉक अबाउट फ्यूचरिस्टिक कार्स, अगर हम ईवीज की बात करें, इनोवेशन इज अ की एंड मर्सिडीज यूजुअली स्पेंड्स लाइक 8 billion euros annually just for the R&D side. तो यहाँ पे डेवलप किया है ये एक बहुत ही छोटा सा पावर कन्वर्टर. फ्यूचर में दिस माइट बी यूज्ड इन कार्स. और बेसिकली होगा क्या कि जो बैटरी टेक्नोलॉजी है, जैसे हम अलग अलग सेल्स देखते हैं जो लगे होते हैं, मतलब overall the efficiency and the reliability and the fast charging, everything will enhance. एक और चीज बहुत एक्साइटिंग है which is right here, because this if you see is the roof of the Vision EQXX और इसके अंदर solar panels लगे हैं. Now a solar panel, if I show you how exactly it looks, is like this. अब ये काफी fragile है and I mean not as efficient, and of course you can't have it छत के अलावा कहीं और कार में. But what's the future is this. Guys, ये जो है, this is a very interesting thing which is a solar coating. तो imagine करो कि कार की बॉडी के ऊपर आपने पूरा ऐसा कोट कर दिया है and what we are getting is कि आपको कार चार्ज नहीं करनी है, धूप से आपको इतनी बैटरी मिल रही है कि यू कैन कंटिन्यू योर डेज मतलब नॉर्मल रूटीन, और एक साल में लेट से 12,000 किलोमीटर्स गाड़ी चलाने लायक जो एनर्जी आपको चाहिए, इट्स कमिंग स्ट्रेट फ्रॉम हियर. एंड यहाँ पे बिकॉज वी आर यूजिंग द पावर कन्वर्टर, स्ट्रेट अवे द बैटरी इज बीइंग चार्ज्ड. हमने कुछ डेमोज लिए, काफी एक्साइटिंग लगा. लेट मी शो यू व्हाट्स नेक्स्ट. This is the next segment and यहाँ पे it's about the brake of the future. See, normally this is how a traditional braking system works. We have the big disc. इसके ऊपर this is the caliper. बहुत भारी होता है, मतलब if I try lifting is like let's say 3, 4, 5 kilos, and these are the brake pads. इनको हमको चेंज करना पड़ता है टाइम के साथ साथ और ये घिस जाते हैं, गंदगी भी फैलाते हैं. There is lots of debris, but the brakes of the future would be something like this. यहाँ पे ये ट्रांसपेरेंट के थ्रू आप देख सकते हो क्या है. दिस इज ऑल कवर्ड एंड दिस इज कंप्लीटली डिसअसेंबल्ड सिस्टम. तो गाइस नॉर्मली गाड़ी में क्या होता है, डिस्क घूमती है, जो ब्रेक पैड है वो स्टेशनरी होता है और वो चिपकता है. यहाँ पे क्या होगा, ब्रेक पैड घूमेगा, डिस्क स्टेशनरी रहेगी और अगेंस्ट चिपकेगा. एंड लुक एट दिस, हाउ बिग इज दिस. एंड यहाँ पे द फ्यूचर वी माइट गेट समथिंग लाइक दिस, जहां पे जीरो मेंटेनेंस फॉर लाइफ टाइम. कभी ब्रेक पैड चेंज करने की जरूरत नहीं आएगी, क्योंकि 98% ऑफ द टाइम जो कि नॉर्मल सिचुएशन होती है उसमें जो ब्रेक लगेंगे वो रीजनरेटिव ब्रेकिंग से लग जाएंगे. बट जो 2% जहां पे हमको एकदम ब्रेक लगाने पड़ते हैं, दिस वुड किक इन एंड विल गेट ग्रेट परफॉर्मेंस. आगे चलते हैं, आई विल शो यू सम मोर. Well, the next is the customer-centered XR space, and the future is quite exciting in a way कि imagine करो हमारे पास में एक कार है just like this. Now this is just for the demonstration, but हमारे पास में एक हमारा smart glass हमने पहन लिया है, maybe it's a VR glass or an AR glass, something like this, you know. So basically what happens is it blends in real world and the virtual world. कि when you are in the car seat and the car is driving all by itself, आप अपना काम कर सकते हो while you are wearing that headset. It's quite interesting and quite useful, and especially when future we talk about autonomous driving, ये जो पूरा टेक है ना, ये बहुत एक्साइटिंग होने वाला है. और अगेन इट गिव्स अ क्लियर व्यू ऑफ द फ्यूचर, दैट हाउ एग्जैक्टली इन टर्म्स ऑफ ड्राइविंग अ कार टू ओनिंग अ कार to enjoying while you're inside a car is going to change in future, because this was the future experience at the Mercedes-Benz headquarters in Stuttgart. Friends, देखा आपने, I mean, what an amazing journey this was, जहाँ पे we got to see some new crazy innovations up close, and you know, I can just imagine कि future में क्या होने वाला है. I mean, it's too difficult to imagine, but basically Mercedes kind of showed us a way. So we have some brief insights. Let's see the kind of cars we'll have in future, and I hope they are not too expensive. Well, expensive की बात अगर हम याद कर लेते हैं, guys, you know, I'll tell you about the most expensive mistake one had done. साल था 2013 और एक IT वर्कर मिस्टर जेम्स हॉवेल्स ने एक हार्ड ड्राइव जिसमें 8,000 बिटकॉइंस थे, गलती से जस्ट बाय मिस्टेक कचरे में डाल दी. दिस इज फ्रॉम न्यूपोर्ट वेल्स, और 2017 में रफ एस्टिमेटेड वैल्यू ऑफ 8,000 बिटकॉइंस वाज इन द रेंज ऑफ लाइक $127 मिलियन. अब ये गए म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के पास कि बिटकॉइन वाली वो हार्ड ड्राइव ढूंढने में मदद करो. कॉर्पोरेशन ने मना कर दिया. इन्होंने ये भी ऑफर किया कि अगर ड्राइव मिल जाए तो वो काफ़ी अमाउंट डोनेट कर देंगे सिटी के वेलफेयर के लिए. स्टिल दे वर प्रीटी स्ट्रेट अपफ्रंट अबाउट इट कि नहीं, मतलब यू नो, इट्स नॉट गुड फॉर द एनवायरनमेंट, दिस दैट व्हाटएवर, एंड दैट हार्ड ड्राइव इज स्टिल इन द लॉस्ट पोजीशन. वैसे आज की डेट में 8,000 बिटकॉइंस, इफ आई कैन कैलकुलेट, रफली दे आर अपवर्ड्स ऑफ $700 million. इससे महंगी मिस्टेक क्या हो सकती है? क्या आपको पता है ऐसे किसी मिस्टेक के बारे में? डू लेट मी नो. यू नो द एड्रेस, इट्स tg@ndtv.com. या अगर आपको नहीं पता है एंड यू वांट टू शेयर सम सिंपैथी फॉर जेम्स, वो भी आप लिख सकते हैं इन दिस ईमेल. काफी बड़ी गलती हो गई है वैसे. Friends, for the next one I have this, the all new iQOO 13, recently launched. and अगर मैं इस फोन को डिफाइन करूं in just a line, मैं बोलूँगा दिस इज द मोस्ट वैल्यू फ्लैगशिप इन इंडिया राइट नाउ, विच इज सुपर पावरफुल. बहुत अच्छे अच्छे फीचर्स हैं और प्राइस भी काफ़ी एग्रेसिव है फ्रॉम iQOO, एज दिस फोन इज पावर्ड बाय Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, has as high as 16 GB RAM with 512 GB storage, has a triple rear cam setup with this RGB light going along that maybe gives this new flavor अगर आप म्यूजिक प्ले करते हैं, let's say you have some incoming call or playing games वगैरह. At the same time has a huge 6000 mAh बैटरी जिसको आप 120 watts की स्पीड से फास्ट चार्ज कर सकते हैं. A big bright screen, everything packed together. This iQOO 13 बहुत एक अच्छा स्मार्टफोन बनाया है iQOO ने. Let's learn more about this and see how exactly is the performance in real life.
The iQOO 13 is a flagship smartphone powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite SoC and features a 6.82-inch 2K AMOLED display with a 144Hz refresh rate. ये फोन दो configurations में आता है, 12GB RAM के साथ 256GB storage और 16GB RAM के साथ 512GB storage. डिवाइस में 6000 mAh की बैटरी है जो 120 watts फास्ट चार्जिंग सपोर्ट करती है. ये FunTouch OS 15 पर बेस्ड है जो Android 15 के साथ आता है. The rear camera setup includes a 50 megapixel Sony IMX921 main sensor, a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera and a 50 megapixel telephoto lens, while the front camera is 32 megapixels. फोन दो कलर्स में अवेलेबल है, Legend with AG glass और Nardo Grey with enamel glass. इसके अलावा इसमें इन डिस्प्ले 3D ultrasonic fingerprint sensor भी दिया गया है. The iQOO 13 includes advanced AI features that enhance its capabilities in photography. The 12GB plus 256GB variant is priced at Rs 54,999, while the 16GB plus 512GB variant is priced at Rs 59,999.
Friends, there you have it. That's all about this new iQOO 13. मेरे पास में है इसका Legend color. This is in collaboration with the BMW M Motorsport. If you want another option, तो एक Nardo Grey color का option भी है. Looks quite understated. Pricing with all the offers start at Rs 51,999. वैसे आपके लिए अपार्ट फ्रॉम गैजेट्स आई हैव सम अमेजिंग टिप एज वेल, और आपके सवालों के जवाब भी है गाइस. सब कुछ मिलेगा राइट आफ्टर दिस शॉर्ट ब्रेक.
are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
NDTV Indian of the Year 2024.
NDTV नेटवर्क की तरफ से मैं आप सब लोगों का बहुत स्वागत करना चाहता हूं.
Celebrating the extraordinary.
Thank you, jury. बहुत धन्यवाद करना.
Honoring those who shape India's future.
For me, it is a great privilege to participate.
NDTV Indian of the Year. Only on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the state of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The Breakfast Show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Maha Kumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Maha Kumbh 2025.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra.
Hello friends and welcome back after the break to your favorite show Gadget 360 with Technical Guruji. ब्रेक से पहले हमने बात की है गैजेट्स के बारे में और अभी टाइम है उन गैजेट्स को अच्छे से यूज कर पाएं उसके बारे में बात करने का बिकॉज हियर आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर सम इंटरेस्टिंग टिप विद यू. Now see, screenshots they are pretty common. मतलब हम दिन में कितनी ही बार ऐसा होता है मोबाइल फोन पे कुछ भी होता है खट करके स्क्रीनशॉट ले लेते हैं because sometimes we want to share what's on the screen. Screen recording, however, is sometimes even more useful when you want to demonstrate कि exactly what's going on your device. Mobile phones and screen recording is very easy, but becomes थोड़ा सा difficult when you talk about laptops, especially Macs. And if you are a new Mac user, you would be happy to know कि आपको किसी भी अलग से ऐप को इंस्टॉल करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है to do any screen recording because it's built in. All you have to do is just press Command, Shift and 5. The moment you do it, आपके सामने एक मेन्यू आ जाता है जहाँ पे you can select the area that you want to record या आपको अगर पूरा स्क्रीन रिकॉर्ड करना है and that's it. आप सीधा वहीं से अपनी स्क्रीन को रिकॉर्ड कर सकते हैं and then you can share it with whoever you want. तो basically Command Shift 3 से आप स्क्रीनशॉट क्लिक कर सकते हैं, Command Shift 4 से आप एक पार्शियल स्क्रीनशॉट क्लिक कर सकते हैं, Command Shift 5 से you can do screen recording. टिप फॉर ऑल द मैक यूजर्स, शेयर कर दो अपने सभी दोस्तों के साथ में. Guys, now it's time जहां पे मैं देता हूं सवालों के जवाब in this section Ask TG. Again this week I've got amazing questions. Well I hope so. और मेरे पास में शायद उन सभी के जवाब भी हैं. Let's see इस बार हमको कौन से questions मिले हैं.
Hey गौरव, क्या अब्रॉड से परचेज किए हुए सैमसंग फोन्स की वारंटी मिलती है?
नहीं, you won't get a warranty in India if you buy your Samsung Galaxy smartphones from out of India, unfortunately. Well, my friend, options हैं market में of a smart ring under ₹20,000, but unfortunately, I cannot recommend any one of those options because कहीं ना कहीं आपको कुछ ना कुछ इतना मज़ा नहीं आएगा. So you can get the ultra human ring, but वो थोड़ा सा 20,000 के ऊपर जाती है और even higher is the Galaxy ring. So unfortunately 20,000 के नीचे जो rings हैं मैं recommend नहीं कर पाऊँगा because in terms of what data you get and how kind of unreliable they are, तो not good. तो basically आप थोड़ा सा अगर पैसा और उसमें ऐड करें, at least start with an ultra human, you will be really happy, but थोड़ा सा आपको महंगा पड़ेगा 20,000. Nokia Morph prototype. Still remember those images जो एक टाइम पे आई थी सामने की yes this might be the phone of the future वगैरह, but I don't think so. हमको ऐसा कोई डिवाइस देखने को मिलेगा. Mobile phones as we see today more or less ऐसे ही रहने वाले हैं जब तक वो रहेंगे. हाँ, we definitely have the option of rollables and foldables वगैरह, but eventually AI जो है वो बहुत strongly integrate होने वाला है. The phones will be smarter and smarter, not in terms of hardware, कुछ एकदम ऐसा crazy, because production costs they are so high, demand sometimes you're not sure. मतलब एक टाइम था जब मोबाइल फोन डिजाइन्स में इतने एक्सपेरिमेंटेशंस हुआ करते थे, स्पेशली फ्रॉम नोकिया, बट आफ्टर द आईफोन ऐसा होना बंद हो गया है, एंड राइटफुली सो कि आगे भी फ्यूचर में ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है.
Hi Gaurav sir, why do car infotainment systems have sluggish touch screens?
It depends on two things. Number one, sometimes the technology of the touch screen is not good. Sometimes the processing power that the car has is not adequate. कि आप जब टच करते हो उसके 3 सेकंड बाद फिर वो मेन्यू खुलता है. Sometimes the scrolling is not smooth वगैरह वगैरह. But if you see in the modern cars that we have right now, they are pretty good. और वो आपको लगता है जैसे अपना मोबाइल फोन या एक टैबलेट ही आप यूज कर रहे हैं. तो depends on car to car, and then again depends on, like for example if you take Mercedes from 10 years ago cut to how it is today, the difference is night and day. So over time the cars are being evolved बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छे से, but yeah I get it, sometimes it feels slow just because maybe the processing power is not adequate, या फिर जो टेक्नोलॉजी टच स्क्रीन की है वो लेटेस्ट नहीं है. No, I mean signature beat experience जो आपको मिलता है बीट्स हेडफोन्स में, वो थोड़ा सा हैवी बेस, वो ऑफ कोर्स आपको सोलो बड्स में नहीं मिलेगा, बट यस दे आर स्लाइटली मोर टुवर्ड्स द बेसियर साइड, बट देन अगेन दे आर द चीपेस्ट बीट्स ईयरफोन्स पॉसिबल. तो वो आपको एकदम अगर बीट्स एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए, not the right product for that. Okay, so friends, that's all from this week's episode of your favorite show Gadget 360 with Techie Atul Subhash. आपको पता है आपको क्या करना है? 2 चीजें करनी है. सबसे पहले you need to wait for the next week ताकि आपको मिले एक और नया fresh episode with everything packed together. Second thing, in the meantime, you just need to write me an email. tg@ndtv.com is the address. The email could be about anything. आपके सवाल अगर आपको कुछ पूछने हैं, let's say you want to write some suggestion or some appreciation, the address remains the same, और मैं और मेरी टीम हमारे inboxes को छानते रहेंगे for all your messages. By the time मैं जाके prepare करता हूँ अपना episode, आप कीजिए आराम. I'll see you all next week. Same time, same place. अभी के लिए इतना ही. Have a good day and take care.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
NDTV Indian of the Year 2024.
NDTV नेटवर्क की तरफ से मैं आप सब लोगों का बहुत स्वागत करना चाहता हूं.
Celebrating the extraordinary.
Thank you, jury. बहुत धन्यवाद करना.
Honoring those who shape India's future.
For me, it is a great privilege to participate.
NDTV Indian of the Year. Only on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your lives.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From maximum city, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi,
NDTV brings to you the best
breakfast show.
The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility, according to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024. NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Maha Kumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega
India bloc's leadership debacle continues after Omar Abdullah says the Congress is not doing enough to earn the leadership role. Congress leader Manishankar Iyer casts doubt on the party's leadership. In Prime Minister Modi's reply to the Constitution debate, he said the essence of the Constitution is unity in diversity. He slammed the Congress and said the emergency trampled on rights of the people. Opposition MPs react to Prime Minister Modi's speech in the Parliament. Priyanka Gandhi calls it a double math period while Akhilesh takes a Jumla drive. Bengaluru Techie suicide Atul Subhash's wife Nikita arrested. Bengaluru police make 3 arrests in the case. Cabinet expansion of the newly elected BJP-led Maha government in Maharashtra set to take place today with the oath-taking ceremony in Nagpur. NDTV wins big in the NT Awards. Battleground with Sanjay Pogalia wins 2 awards. Left, Right and Centre wins Best Debate Show. The Last Word wins Best Primetime News Show. NDTV Network wins 38 awards in total. We have some breaking news coming in. Another accident involving a best bus in Mumbai. A man was hit by a bus in Govandi is what we're learning, resulting in his death. This incident occurred in Shivaji Nagar in Govandi at around 12:15 a.m. early this morning. The bus involved in the accident was A350. Remember, on December 9th, a best bus again was involved in a major accident that took place in Kurla in Maharashtra. Again, another bus accident in Mumbai. This time around, this took place in Shivaji Nagar, is what we're learning. These details, of course, come in after this is the third accident, in fact, in a week. This comes after the December 9 best bus accident. My colleague Anuj joins us with more details. Anuj, take us through the latest information on this accident that has taken place in Mumbai.
A life of a 25-year-old has been lost in this accident, which took place at 11:30 p.m. last night in near Shivaji Nagar bus depot. Now, just to put it in context, this bus was leaving Shivaji Nagar bus depot for Kurla station. Kurla bus depot, which is which is the same place where we saw that horrendous accident taking place just a few days ago, where lives of 7 people were lost, and it is the same congested area which has seen another accident. Now, there are a few more similarities with what had happened in Kurla a few days ago. Just like that, even this time around, we saw that the bus which was involved in the accident yesterday was on a wet lease, which means that it's a contractor bus. It's not a bus owned by the BEST, and that is going to be a major point of contention, be it wet leased drivers or wet leased buses. It is these things that have been these questions that have been put forth in front of the BEST about how much of trust do they really have as far as the wet lease buses or the contract drivers are concerned. But as far as the accident last night is concerned, the deceased here was traveling on a bike, a young 25-year-old man. He got hit by the right side of the bus, and as soon as he fell, he got hit on his head. Although he was taken to the close by Rajawadi hospital immediately after the accident, he was announced dead on arrival, suggesting that the hit was so hard that he lost his life at that very moment when when there was an impact between his bike and the bus. This incident took place at 11:30 a.m. At Shivaji Nagar bus depot, which is about 8 kilometers away from Kurla.
Thank you, Anuj, for joining us and bringing us those details. Now, the leadership challenge for the India bloc continues to loom after another ally has pushed the Congress and questioned them to justify them leading the alliance. Now, Jammu and Kashmir CM Omar Abdullah has in fact says that there's a natural disquiet in the India bloc. He says that the Congress needs to do more, and the pressure, of course, continues to build in the Congress. Listen to what Omar Abdullah had to say.
Look, by virtue of the fact that they're the India bloc is a national alliance.
Sure.
By virtue of being the single largest party in parliament and also having the leader of the opposition in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, the fact that they have a pan-India footprint, which no other party can lay claim to, they are natural sort of leaders of an opposition movement. That said, that position has to be earned. It cannot be taken for granted, and therefore I think the disquiet that you sense in some of the allies is because they feel that the position that has been given to the Congress is now, they're not doing enough to justify it or to earn it or to keep it. That's something the Congress might wish to consider. But otherwise, sort of a leader of the stature of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, you don't have in any other political party, let's face it. And she does play an important part in the India bloc. She may not do much with the day-to-day running of the Congress party, but when the India bloc comes together, she does play an important leadership role.
Now, apart from that, Congress's own leader has questioned the leadership of the party in the alliance. Senior Congress leader Manishankar Iyer has told PTI on what should be the way forward for the Congress. He says the Congress must not aspire to be the India bloc leader and that it must give equal respect and equal opportunity to its allies as well. Bengaluru Techie Atul Subhash's wife Nikita and 2 other family members have been arrested by the Bengaluru police. Remember, Atul Subhash in his suicide statement accused Nikita and her family of harassment as well as various other charges which he explicitly stated that are responsible for his suicide. Prime Minister Modi delivered a nearly 2-hour-long speech responding to the Constitution debate. Prime Minister said that Constitution makers focus on unity in diversity, and during his speech, the Prime Minister also tore into the Congress, targeting the Gandhi family. Prime Minister Modi said that it was the Congress which had attacked the Constitution, and that Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia and Rahul Gandhi all did their bit. Listening to some of the key excerpts from the speech.
देश संविधान के 25 वर्ष पूरे कर रहा था, उसी समय हमारे देश में संविधान को नोच लिया गया, इमरजेंसी आपातकाल लाया गया, संवैधानिक व्यवस्थाओं को समाप्त कर दिया गया, देश को जेल खाना बना दिया गया, नागरिकों के अधिकारों को लूट लिया गया, प्रेस की स्वतंत्रता को ताले लगा दिए गए, और कांग्रेस के माथे पर ये जो पाप है ना, वो कभी भी धुलने वाला नहीं है, कभी भी धुलने वाला। यह सब हिंदुस्तान, दुनिया में जब जब लोकतंत्र की चर्चा होगी, कांग्रेस के माथे का ये पाप कभी धुलने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि लोकतंत्र का गला घोंट दिया गया था। आज यहां किसी की व्यक्तिगत आलोचना करना नहीं चाहता, लेकिन तथ्यों को देश के सामने रखना जरूरी है, और इसलिए मैं तथ्यों को रखना चाहता हूं। कांग्रेस के एक परिवार ने संविधान को चोट पहुंचाने में कोई कोर कसर नहीं छोड़ी है। और मैं इसलिए एक परिवार का उल्लेख करता हूं कि 75 साल की हमारी यात्रा में 55 साल एक ही परिवार ने राज किया है। इसलिए देश को क्या क्या हुआ है ये जानने का अधिकार है। हर स्तर पर इस परिवार ने संविधान को चुनौती दी है।
Opposition MPs reacted to Prime Minister Modi's speech, while some MPs called it boring. Some said it sounded like the speech of an RSS leader. Listening.
The Prime Minister should know that Congress party only has given him all rights with this constitution, with the national flag and national anthem and independence, and that is why when independence has been given to him and democracy has been given, now he is the Prime Minister of this country. The same voice, without giving him an opportunity, getting the freedom to him, to the nation or the constitution, he could have become the Prime Minister of this country.
ऐसा स्पीच प्राइम मिनिस्टर को नहीं शोभा देता है. इट इज अ स्पीच ऑफ अ शाखा प्रमुख कॉर्पोरेटर लेवल. ही इज जस्ट, वो गरिमा नहीं रही है प्राइम मिनिस्टर. जो पोजीशन होती है, सबसे पावरफुल पोजीशन होती है, नहीं रही. एंड नॉट इवन वंस आई एम शॉक्ड हैज ही यूज्ड द वर्ड सेक्युलर. ही इज जस्ट प्लेइंग अ ब्लेम गेम. और जो कांग्रेस ने नींव संविधान की रखी थी, उसी के बदौलत आज ही प्रधानमंत्री बने हैं, वो नहीं भूलना.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi led the charge from the opposition in the constitution debate, taking a dig at the Sangh Parivar. He said that the country will be run based on the constitution and not the Manusmriti. He also made a fresh pitch for social justice. Listen to what Rahul Gandhi as well as political reactions to his speech.
Political equality, but no social and economic equality. Political equality will be destroyed. ये अंबेडकर जी के शब्द हैं, और आज ये बात सबके सामने है. पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी जो थी वो खत्म हो गई है. हिंदुस्तान के सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस कैप्चर कर लिए गए हैं. सोशल इक्वालिटी नहीं रही, फाइनेंशियल इकोनॉमिक इक्वालिटी नहीं रही. इसीलिए हमारा अगला कदम जाति जनगणना होगा. जो मैंने वायदा किया था, इसी हाउस में यहां हम कास्ट सेंसस लागू करेंगे, और उसके बाद हिंदुस्तान में एक नए तरीके का विकास होगा, एक नई तरीके की राजनीति होगी.
लेकिन आप अगर देखें तो एलओपी जो बात कर रहे थे उसमें बिल्कुल भी संविधान के बारे में वो कुछ नहीं जिक्र कर रहे थे. वो सिर्फ अपनी राजनीतिक महत्वाकांक्षा या फिर उसको कैसे उजागर करे, उसके लिए उनका प्रयास चल रहा था. आज के दिन संविधान के रचयिता आदरणीय बाबा साहब जी अम्बेडकर साहब हो या फिर वो संविधान समिति हो, उन सभी का गौरव करने की आज ज़रूरत थी, उनको नमन करने की ज़रूरत थी. और जिस माध्यम से आज दुनिया की अर्थसत्ता 5वीं अर्थसत्ता बन के भारत उभरा है, उसका मूल कारण कुछ हो तो अपना संविधान है. ये डेमोक्रेटिक स्ट्रक्चर जो चल रहा है वो संविधान की वजह से चल रहा है. इस मूल तत्व को बाजू में रखते हुए वो सिर्फ अपनी राजनीति रोटी सेकने का काम कर रहे थे.
Cabinet expansion of the Devendra Fadnavis-led BJP government in Maharashtra is set to take place today, with new ministers taking oath at the ceremony in Nagpur. This comes ahead of the week-long winter session of the state legislature that is slated to begin in Nagpur as well.
नहीं, फोन वगैरह अभी तक कुछ नहीं आया, पर देखते हैं अभी क्या होता है। नहीं, कार्यकर्ता की, लोगों की, कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में की उनकी अपेक्षा तो रहती है, पर जो पार्टी और देवेंद्र जी डिसीजन लेंगे वो हमें मान्य रहेगा सब।
We'll continue tracking these stories for you. For now, a short break.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं।
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी।
NDTV Indian of the Year 2024.
NDTV नेटवर्क की तरफ से मैं आप सब लोगों का बहुत स्वागत करना चाहता हूं।
Celebrating the extraordinary.
Thank you, jury. बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं।
Honoring those who shape India's future.
For me, it is a great privilege to participate.
NDTV Indian of the Year. Only on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country.
A friendly cricket match between Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla's team and Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar's team is being played today. The 20-over cricket match, titled TB Mukt Bharat Awareness Cricket Match, is taking place at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. The Lok Sabha Speaker's 11 team will be captained by Anurag Thakur, while Rajya Sabha Chairman's 11 will be captained by Kiran Rijiju. My colleague Tanushka spoke to the leaders who are donning the cap of cricketers for the day. Listen in.
So are you looking forward to this match, from the parliament to the pitch?
See, when you are in the sporting field, you are completely bound by the sportsman spirit. Being a sports person, you learn a lot, positive thing. Whether you win or you lose, you play in the field. So with that spirit, we are here, the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha team, with a big purpose, TV Mukt Bharat. TV Mukt Bharat means a slogan which Prime Minister has given, and we need to achieve that, and to promote that, we need to create certain events, certain programs, and promotion of any kind of event through cricket, I think gives a wider kind of attraction, because cricket is very popular in India. So I hope whether we play cricket or we do anything, we must achieve the target of TV Mukt Bharat.
Sir, both the MPs of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha opposition as well has come together for this cause.
Yes.
Can we expect, anything else, any other issue to, come up like this, MPs coming together for a cause?
Yes, definitely. We are playing cricket.
How excited are you from the Parliament to the pitch? Both the MPs of the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha coming together for an issue here.
No, it's a very exciting match, and I think it's a great initiative where members of Parliament cutting across party lines have come to this cricket field to play a match for a cause. The cause is about the awareness of, the disease called the tuberculosis. And I think what you will see today is that though a particular team has members of Parliament of almost several parties, almost every party, but they will play together as one unit, as one team, with a lot of teamwork and team spirit. And I think that is the kind of teamwork and team spirit that we require as members of Parliament of Team India. And I think this is going to be a great beginning, whereby I hope that the personal political animosity that usually even carry forwards post the election, we hope to see that diluting with initiatives like these.
Can we expect this sort of camaraderie in the Parliament, with other issues as well between opponents?
Well, I hope so, because the idea is that once the election gets over, all political parties, regardless of whether you're in opposition or whether you're in government, should work together, come together and work together as one unit. Because in the eyes of the world, we're one unit, we're Team India. While we, within the country, from election to election, may fight with one another on the political battlefield. But once the election is over, we should work as one unit. And I think that is also an unwritten message, a hidden message from today's match.
We're currently at Major Dhyanchand Stadium, wherein the tuberculosis awareness friendship match between both the members of Parliament in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is all set to begin. And I'm currently being joined by Union Minister Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu here. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV, sir. So essentially, what is, we know the cause is tuberculosis, but how would you look at this match?
Very rarely we all come together across parties and fight for the same event, and this is one of those important events where you see that on breaking those political barriers, everyone has come together, because this is a fight, not a political fight, but this is a fight for the country, fight for India, and we want to defeat TB at all stages. So this has been a fight which has been there for a long time, and today, for creating more awareness, for bringing in more energy into the campaign, for bringing more people and more support into it, I think this is a friendly match is going to be a great platform to go forward. Already I'm seeing the enthusiasm, the way MPs have come in to participate and all that. And I would like to say that definitely this is something which we need to take it much more forward, take it to the constituency level, more ground level, root level, and try to defeat TB. It's a fight between the MPs today, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but the winner is definitely going to be India. And who is going to be defeated? It's going to be TB.
So also, how long are you returning to the pitch after? Like, do you play cricket often? And what do you think? Is your team going to win, or is it going to be?
No, looking at the fitness level, I think Lok Sabha is definitely going to win. And the other thing is that I don't remember when I played last. And one thing I can share with you. Anurag ji had one TB game, similar one in Dharmashala in his constituency back in 2017, I believe. So that was one time when we all played together in the same energy. But probably during the campaigns, I was trying to play with my constituents a little bit, but not as far as I can't recollect exactly. But it's a great to see the kind of enthusiasm here.
Sri Lankan President Dissanayake is in India on a two-day visit. This is his first state visit abroad since he won the presidency in September and his party swept the polls in November general elections. During his visit to India, Dissanayake will meet President Draupadi Murmu and hold bilateral discussions with Prime Minister Modi as well. My colleague Disha has more details.
After winning a thumping victory in his country's parliamentary elections, Sri Lankan President Anurakumara Dissanayake is all set to shape Sri Lanka's future. And his first course of action, reaching out to crucial ally India. Dissanayake, also known as AKD, is all set to arrive in New Delhi today on a two-day visit, with the Sri Lankan Foreign Minister along with the Deputy Finance Minister joining him. By picking India for his overseas visit since becoming president, AKD signals a pivot from China, despite having a history of supporting left-leaning and pro-China policies. However, the Sri Lankan leader has reiterated that he will not let Sri Lanka be dragged into any geopolitical contest between New Delhi and Beijing. Now, this visit also signals a new chapter in the complex Indo-Lankan ties, given India has a contentious history with the JVP, or the People's Liberation Front, the leading party of Dissanayake's ruling coalition. The JVP led various opposition movements against Indian interventions, particularly in the 1980s, when India and Sri Lanka signed the peace accord. Dissanayake also made his name during the anti-India protests in 1980s. However, he has since toned down his anti-India rhetoric significantly, indicating his willingness to work with New Delhi. With Sri Lanka being one of India's crucial allies in its Sagar and neighborhood-first policies, Dissanayake is expected to meet Prime Minister Modi, Foreign Minister Jaishankar, as well as President Murmu, and discuss a range of issues from investments and connectivity projects to debt restructuring and the persisting fishing conflicts. It will be interesting to see how New Delhi welcomes and engages with Sri Lanka's new head of state and how this visit shapes the new chapter in Indo-Lankan ties. Disha Bagchi for NDTV.
Proud moment for NDTV as NDTV network has bagged 38 awards at the News Television Awards. Battleground with Sanjay Pugalia won 2 awards, including Best Televised Live Initiative by a News Channel. Left, Right and Centre won the Best News Debate Show award, while The Last Word won Best Primetime Show. We'll continue tracking these stories for you. For now, a short break.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Maha Kumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Maha Kumbh 2025.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
NDTV Indian of the Year 2024.
NDTV नेटवर्क की तरफ से मैं आप सब लोगों का बहुत स्वागत करना चाहता हूं.
Celebrating the extraordinary.
Thank you, jury. बहुत धन्यवाद करना.
Honoring those who shape India's future.
For me, it is a great privilege to participate.
NDTV Indian of the Year. Only on the NDTV network.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your lives.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is a man of eminent scholarship. But if I stay there, if I stop there, that would be only half of his introduction. He is a prolific author. He is somebody who has captivated through his not only his observations, words, writings, India's economic journey transformation, but has also encapsulated it in so many places. In his current role, he happens to hold a very, very critical job. As the chairperson of the 16th Finance Commission, Mr. Arvind Panagariya will decide how the finances are distributed between the states and the government of India. However, I am not meeting Mr. Arvind Panagariya today for that purpose. I am meeting him for his latest book, and he has written a book on the first Prime Minister of India as a man of his scholarship must. The Nehru Development Model. Mr. Panagariya, welcome to NDTV.
My pleasure to be with you.
Mr. Panagariya, let me ask you a question. I tried to read this book, and let me confess that I could not finish it because of...
It's a thick book.
It's a thick book, and for the paucity of time, I received it during a working week, so probably it would had it been a weekend, I would have finished it.
Yes.
But you have given reasons why you have written it. You have written about the unfortunate death of your brother during the COVID years, and then how you were writing an article, and then it transformed into a book. But what's the provocation, Mr. Panagariya, at this stage to write a book on Mr. Nehru's development model? What's the idea?
No real provocation really, but what I think, not quite sure whether it's a prospective explanation, retrospective, but to be sure, while a lot has been written on post-independence history of India on the political side, on the economic side, hardly anything. Particularly, if one takes the contemporary period, meaning last 20-30 years, lot on the post-independence history, political history that is, but hardly anything on the economic history. Now, while this period, Nehru era, was unfolding, a lot of writings were happening at that time, but we also need to, sometimes go back and look at the events from today's vantage point. And that really, if you will, is the provocation. And ultimately, of course, we also want to learn from the past. So that is the effort. Both, we try to learn from the past, but we also try to explain the present in the context of what happened in the past. So both of those motivations drive the analysis of the book.
And it's interesting that you talk about political writings on Mr. Nehru and Mr. Nehru's governance, even during the contemporary times. Because you have written in your book, Mr. Panagariya, that Pandit Nehru embarked on two projects simultaneously when India became independent. One was a political project and another was a financial or economic project. You say that he succeeded so stupendously in the political project that even when his daughter, these are your words, even when his daughter tried to tinker with those institutions, she flirted, as you say. Right. When she flirted briefly, she had to revert to the original and very, very brief flirtation, disastrous as it is, she reverted to it. How is it, Mr. Panagariya, that the analysis of your book or the sum and summation of your book, while Pandit Nehru succeeds on one side stupendously, on the other side it appears that he fails miserably?
Yes. Well, I think, his, as the book explains, his original instincts were absolutely right. What he wanted to achieve for India is something that we still try to achieve for India, namely the eradication of poverty and making India prosperous. So his instincts were in this sense quite right, that the whole purpose, in fact he even wrote in somewhere, maybe in the Discovery of India, that or even before that, maybe in the autobiography, somewhere I quote that, that
yes, Discovery of India,
that ultimately the purpose of independence is also to eradicate the appalling poverty of India. So he also recognized very rightly actually that this could not be done without industrialization and growth, because in his own words, he said that the incomes were so low, existing wealth was so little, that redistribution simply, there was simply not enough wealth to redistribute. There was only poverty to redistribute. And so therefore, he saw industrialization and growth as the instrument of eradicating poverty. So on those counts he was correct. But now, how to stimulate growth, and the model that he ended up picking turned out to be the wrong one. And so the kind of growth that was required, again going back to his own ambition, he wrote that, look, we recognized when we had held these discussions that to eradicate poverty completely in a matter of about 10 years or a decade, we will need 600% increase or six-fold increase in income. But that was too ambitious, so we set a goal of 300% or threefold increase in income. So again, very correct analysis up to that point, but then when it came to what path to choose, this is where his own kind of inclinations towards heavy industry, towards socialism, that kind of came in the way, as we later learned.
Before I come back to the socialism part on which you describe Pandit Nehru's journey from Fabian to radical, I'll come to that. But essentially what you are saying is that his diagnosis was right, but the medicine that he chose turned out to be incorrect.
You can put it that way, yes.
And there was caution. You said that while bulk of the economists were agreeing to what Pandit Nehru was saying, even the industrialists, corporates, etc., were agreeing to his philosophy of a mixed economy, private corporates, etc., etc. In the form of Mr. Milton, in the form of
Milton Friedman, yes.
Milton Friedman, you have mentioned Mr. Milton Friedman. There was a caution, and you say that that caution were to be proved absolutely correct,
100%.
In the years to come. But you also write in your book, Mr. Panagariya, that because Mr. Milton was traveling at the instance of the American government, the United States government, there was no chance of him succeeding. Those are your words.
Right. So what I also say is that, so this note, 4,000 word note that Milton Friedman wrote while spending a few weeks in New Delhi. Was written in 1955, and till then Milton Friedman didn't have much acceptance even within the United States, at least among the academics. So he was still yet to be accepted by the larger academic community in the United States itself. So this is what I sort of say, that therefore they had no prayer of being heard in India. And sure enough, that's what happened really, there is no mention, I don't think anybody knew about the note that he wrote, except his fellow traveler, P.T. Bauer, who quotes him in a 1960 book that he wrote, very short book on India. But the wider audience really came to know of that note only around somewhere in the 1980s, when Subrata Roy, I think, discovered this and brought it out in a volume. I myself came to see it only around in 2000, when I actually wrote on that note an Economic Times column.
So you mean to say that, he was yet to acquire the kind of fame or the heft that he acquired?
He was known, but his acceptance, his brand of economics
was still
not accepted. Was not accepted, basically.
So
he was very pro-market. He was free trade. He was flexible exchange rates. These ideas had not yet been accepted. He gained over time incredible acceptance, actually, and
became a very big
became
name.
a very influential economist in the United States eventually. But that was still to happen. 1955 was still early. And he won the Nobel Prize, by the way.
Yes. And so it was not something very jarring that his advice was confined to the bins of...
No, it's not jarring. No. I mean, around this time in 1956 and 1955, before that, when discussions are happening on the second 5-year plan, when Mahalanobis writes the second plan frame, that is a framework for the second 5-year plan, conventional wisdom is that, you got to do planning, you got to industrialize, you got to do heavy industry. We should also remember that, till this time, even Soviet Union is generally seen as a success. So, in this sense, there is a lot of acceptance, of course, our own academics, in assessing the plan frame that Mahalanobis had written, there was a panel of economists, India's 21 leading economists from different parts of the country.
Prime Minister assembled.
Came in, he assembled
that
Prime
Minister
panel
assembled, you have written
because
it.
he believed in consultation and all. So he assembles that whole team, and they all look at it, and if anything, actually they want more control than what was in the Mahalanobis
paper
plan frame. Yeah. So
Mr. Panagariya, let's come back to the historical figure in this book, that is the first Prime Minister himself. You said that, he was also, in your book, you say that he was also driven by his own instinct. And you say that he was at some point in time a radical communist, and he was quite impressed by the Soviet communism.
Yes.
And then he traveled probably to a more pragmatic view of socialism or communism, what did you call it, Fabian socialism.
Fabian or mixed economy.
Mixed economy, which you have also written. So you think that the first Prime Minister of this country was quite radical communist in his leanings at some point in time?
Well, I don't have to say that I think so. It's in his writings. One of the quotes I reproduce in the book says, he once issued a press note saying that there are only two choices before us, fascism and communism, and between those two I choose communism. But there are other writings of his, including actually a presidential address in the Lucknow AICC, All India Congress Committee conference, where he very forcefully expresses this view that he extols the Soviet experience and says that the only thing that can ultimately tame or defeat capitalism which leads to imperialism, is some form of coordinated socialist, international socialist movement, or various countries coming together forming these socialist governments around the world. So he's clearly very radical in this view, and the transition, I think, happens over the following decade between 1936 and 1946.
And when, of course, he comes into governance, then that probably mellows everyone down.
That also, but I think my own read here is that there was a committee called the National Planning Committee, which was appointed by Subhash Chandra Bose in 1938, within the Congress party, that is, and that had 14 members. Nehru chaired that committee, and among the 14 members there were 3 or 4 leading industrialists. That's where Nehru sort of meets his match kind of on the other side, on the market side. Because industrialists are very worried. In fact, there is also a story that after that his Lucknow presidential address, industrialists had got very worried that because Nehru in that address talks about nationalizing everything, the government becoming the public sector. He did a bit, but much less, nothing like, earlier he would be talking about nationalization of all private industry. Effectively more or less the Soviet style. So that got the industrialists very worried, and so these interactions then happened in this committee, which deliberated for 2 years, 38 to 40. Almost till the point that Nehru then gets sent to jail, and that's where somehow abruptly the work of the committee stopped. But there, Nehru himself writes in the Discovery of India that there was a lot of difference of opinion between the industrialists and me, but I learned from them and they learned from me. So the result of that was that they both seemed to have reached a compromise position of what came to be known as the mixed economy. Because not only that the Prime Minister accommodated the private sector, but the private sector also accommodated the public sector, because they wrote that in 1944 and 1945 in 2 parts, the Bombay Plan, which was published.
You mentioned it in great detail about 1944.
And if you look at the Bombay Plan and India's foundational 5-year plan, which is second 5-year plan, not the first.
Not the first, yes.
And that foundational 5-year plan and the Bombay plan are very similar. You'll be very surprised actually, as to how the two could be so similar. But my read is that it resulted from this interaction.
One influenced the other. That's your reading.
Yes.
Now let me ask you something, Mr. Panagariya, that wealth redistribution and socialism, these are ideas that are still, and you have mentioned about it that how Nehru's own philosophy, thought, work plan has had lasting impact for decades on this country's intelligentsia, academia, market economists, everyone including bureaucrats. Yes, you have written it in detail. Even businessmen in detail. Now these are the ideas that still refuse to go away.
Absolutely.
Congress party even today sometimes, today sometimes, Mr. Rahul Gandhi sometimes, very vigorously champions ideas of wealth redistribution.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi is all about redistribution.
Yes.
I think, when the UPA 2 was running the country, I remember writing a column where I said that, the view within the government seems to be that the economy is like the Kamdhenu. The mythical cow, who gives without asking for anything. Without asking for anything. But the economy is not Kamdhenu. You got to nurture the economy for it to keep giving you. So that is really, this is where the redistribution, because a lot of the reforms had happened under Narasimha Rao and Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
For Narasimha Rao, you have quite a praise in this book.
Yes.
That despite Rajiv years and Rajiv, who could have done all of that, you say that, in 87, 88, you write, he comes back to status quo, almost status quo ante, and says it does, in your words, business as usual.
Yes.
But let me also ask you about this wealth redistribution and the corporate sector and all. We see, Mr. Panagariya, from the principal opposition party today, some sort of an obsessive targeting of certain business groups or wealth redistribution ideas, or in what would be seen in modern day era as radical socialism, talk of radical socialism. Do you think the Indian economy has the capacity to take these kind of shocks?
Well, see, okay, so to make it concrete, let's say, and there are also some economists actually, right, who advocate, for example, some sort of state duty, right, you know, that upon death.
In the Americas also it is inheritance tax and things like that.
Yeah, and a big one, you know, and the UK has very large.
Yes, now they have a new one.
I mean, you know, so this is all driven by the instinct that, you know, we want to put an end to the billionaires. Or at least, you know, at some point we deprive them of a lot of their wealth.
A lot of their advantage.
Wealth, basically, you know, a lot of their wealth. But you see, you have to think a little harder because where are those billions sitting? They are not spending that money. You know, occasionally you might say that, you know, we had this $1 billion or whatever wedding by Mr. Mukesh Ambani's younger son. But by and large, this wealth is not being used for ostentatious consumption. It is being invested. So,
and most of it is sitting in investments.
It's sitting in investment. Now, think about it, that if you were to tax it away, give it to the government, what do you think will happen to the investment? In the end, will the government be able to generate the kind of return that private investors and our leading actually entrepreneurs are able to generate on their wealth? I mean, in the end, you see, it may seem offensive that somebody has such kind of wealth and all, but think a bit harder. You need to continue to accumulate wealth, generate wealth. And who is going to generate wealth better than the entrepreneurs who actually created that wealth in the first place? So it's, to me, much more about allocation of that wealth into good investments. Now, obviously, the government over time will collect revenues on that wealth, you know, because incomes get taxed. As you generate incomes from that wealth, that income gets taxed. So tax revenues will be collected. And as the base of this wealth rises, whoever is owning it, eventually more and more taxes will be collected and they become available for redistribution. So, which is what we are doing. We are running a Narega program. There are a lot of these transfer schemes that we have been running. And lately, of course, you know, these transfers have really caught on. So, every political party is
all over the country
is announcing these. So, redistribution is happening. Unlike, you know, in an authoritarian regime, like in South Korea, Taiwan, when they grew richer in 70s, 80s, there were no redistribution programs at all. All poverty alleviation happened through growth, which lifted all boats. Yeah, which lifted all boats. But we have very early on actually started off
the redistribution
with a lot of redistribution programs.
Also, Mr. Panagariya, let me ask you this question, that, you know, about this radical socialism, and then the targeting of the wealth creators themselves, in a sort of a concerted manner. You go after one corporate or the other corporate. We have seen it in the past also happening with various other corporates. It is not for the first time. But do you think is it just that the political might of a political party or establishment goes after a private corporate which probably is not in a position at all to face that might, despite having not done anything provenly wrong?
Well, I think that gets into the political realm, and I sort of keep a bit away from making political commentary. But, you know, in democracies, these things you observe around the world.
Before I close, Mr. Panagariya, it would be incomplete if I don't ask you two things. One is that you put a lot of sort of onus or a lot of money on Mr. Narasimha Rao,
yes,
whom you say that, you know, he had navigated the political system successfully. You write about it, and you say that eventually he was the one who reformed the economy. One is Narasimha Rao part, and second, I want you to, in the culmination, comment, Mr. Panagariya, about the fact you write that, you know, Nehru's ideas, thoughts, workings had a lasting impression on our bureaucracy. Do you now, Mr. Panagariya, sitting in your position, again back working closely with the government, see that that influence is now certainly waning, and are we becoming more pragmatic? I don't want to take an anti or pro view, but more pragmatic in terms of dealing with what is necessarily required in terms of dealing with poverty eradication, as the first Prime Minister also aspired. Are we becoming more pragmatic in that sense?
So first on Narasimha Rao,
Yes.
most certainly I think, he turned out to be a remarkable Prime Minister, right man for his time and all. I mean, partly as I described, that he perhaps understood Nehru quite well himself. He had, he was a man of letters. He was a voracious reader. He used to write and all. So he actually understood him in the sense that Nehru, generally, as a general rule, Nehru would change with circumstances.
Yes, you have repeatedly cited that in your book, that he changed his mind, he was willing to accept advice, and he was malleable in that sense.
So he, in this sense, was also pragmatist. So therefore Narasimha Rao felt that even when he's making these changes are well within the parameters that Nehru would be fine with, because the times have changed. So he talks about this, in one interview, the anchor asks him, that how did you make the U-turn? So he says, no, it's not like that. You don't make a U-turn. What you have to realize is that the ground on which you are standing is itself moving. And once you realize that the ground itself is moving, some sort of turn becomes easier. It's not a U-turn or anything. But so
clever answer from the old man.
Clever answer from the old man.
Yeah.
And so this is how he believed that what he did not do any damage to what Nehru had done.
Legacy.
And yet, as a very savvy politician, he not only made the changes, he navigated the change, sold it to everybody, and really transformed the country. I mean, in the end, what we see today, we owe to a very large degree to Narasimha Rao. Your second question on bureaucracy today,
yes,
I would say that there is no doubt we had made a huge amount of progress. There are a lot of champions of change and economic reforms within bureaucracy also. Without that, we wouldn't get any changes. GST reform could not have happened, the bankruptcy code could not have come, corporate profit taxes which were reduced could not have happened. In the end, even though the politicians make the decisions, implementation is with the bureaucracy, and bureaucracy has to be on board. So there's a large number of, or at least substantial number of bureaucrats who
realists and pragmatists who have come,
who want change. Having said that, it is also the case that the central tendency of the bureaucracy still remains a bit of impacted by socialism. I think central tendency is not for change, it is to maintain the status quo. That is the central tendency. So the politicians in India have to work significantly harder to bring about a change. So it's not simply that the Prime Minister makes a decision and the change will happen. It will not happen like that. And some of the changes the Prime Minister has tried to make did not happen. And it's reflected mostly in the privatization. If you look at, Prime Minister had made a decision in 2016 when I was at the Niti Aayog to privatize many different public sector enterprises. But very few have been actually privatized. The bureaucracy moves slowly.
But let me then ask you, Mr. Panagariya, this final question, since you have had a long experience of working with the government also. Then in that sense, many observers would say that somebody like Mr. Modi, who follows and follows and follows scrupulously to the last detail, and your predecessor, Mr. N.K. Singh, once said famously that the difference between Vajpayee and Prime Minister Modi is that Mr. Modi has the capacity, immense capacity to follow through his decisions, unlike Mr. Vajpayee. Do you think that Indian bureaucracy generally needs politicians like that?
Well, if you want to,
since you said that change, they need to work harder in this country.
Yes, if you want to bring about change, then yes, I think there is no question. In this sense, if you look at, I describe Prime Minister Modi as the holistic Prime Minister. He's not, Prime Minister for this or that. He does everything. Just see the change. First thing when he came, he said, Northeast. We have neglected East generally, but Northeast especially. We have neglected. And see the amount of development he has brought about in the Northeast. Ports we had neglected. The Sagarmala project that he started, that development of islands, we have never done that. I remember day one when I had my first meeting as Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, He talked about all these things, that we need to do these things. It took time to do, but economic reforms, GST, bankruptcy code, corporate profit tax, number of these things, and in the thick of COVID, for a whole week, the finance minister announced package after package of reform. So, in this sense, and the infrastructure, the way he has built, I mean, that I think, to me, takes away all kind of, predictions one could have made, the way, the scale at which, both scale and speed, which these are the terms he often uses also, are just most impressive. I mean, take the new Parliament building, take Mandapam, take the coastal road in Bombay, take the Atal Setu bridge. The projects on that scale we never did. Now we are doing, actually, I mean, I was very impressed when I visited China as G20 Sherpa, what China had done. And I said, goodness, we are never going to be able to do things on that scale. But we are doing them now. We are really doing them. Also, again, in terms of the scale, look initially where he started, the Jan Dhan accounts. Suddenly, people said, no, you can't give accounts that fast to people, and we had taken so long to
open zero balance accounts.
Get
so in that
to those
sense,
accounts. Swachh Bharat, I think, the toilets, right? 65 years of work, and only 38% of rural households had toilets. And he said, in 5 years, I'll do 100%. I mean, I thought, can anybody do it? But
so in that sense, you would say, in my final summing up commentary from you, that a clean break from the Nehruvian ideology helped.
Yes, indeed, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Panagariya. Thank you very much for sparing time for our viewers. Thank you for joining NDTV.
My pleasure. Thank you.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India.
In the Bengaluru Techie suicide case, Atul Subhash's wife, Nikita arrested, Techie's wife and family in judicial custody. Cabinet expansion of the newly elected BJP-led Mahayuti government in Maharashtra set to take place today, oath-taking ceremony in Nagpur. PM Modi's reply to the Constitution debate, where he says the essence of the Constitution is unity in diversity. He slams the Congress and said emergency trampled on the rights of people. Opposition reacts to Prime Minister's speech in Parliament. Priyanka Gandhi says it felt like a double math period. Akhilesh Yadav takes a Jumla drive. Leadership debacle in the India bloc. Another ally pushes Congress. Jammu and Kashmir CM Omar Abdullah says justify leader position. NDTV wins big at the NT Awards. Battleground with Sanjay Pugalia wins 2 awards. Left, Right and Centre wins Best Debate Show, and The Last Word wins Best Primetime News Show. Bengaluru Techie Atul Subhash's wife, Nikita, 2 other family members have been arrested by the Bengaluru police. Remember, Atul Subhash in his suicide statement accused Nikita and her family of harassment, as well as various other charges which he explicitly stated that are responsible for his suicide. My colleague Nehal joins us with more details. Nehal ji, इस केस में और डिटेल्स बताइए. अभी हम जानकारी ये आ रही है कि ये जो फैमिली है निकिता सिंघानिया की और 2 लोग जो अरेस्ट हुए हैं वो अभी जुडिशियल कस्टडी में है.
The DCP Whitefield told us that the wife of Atul Subhash was arrested from Gurugram yesterday, and later the other two accused, means Atul Subhash's mother-in-law as well as his brother-in-law, they were arrested from Prayagraj. All of them have been brought back to Bengaluru in midnight, and then early morning they were produced before the magistrate. They have been sent to judicial custody. But A4, who is the uncle of Atul Singhania's wife, he is A4 and he has been absconding. Police have been trying to apprehend him, but so far he is traceless. He could not be traced. All the move was kept a secret, and nobody was told here that media was kept in dark, and they were brought here in Bengaluru. They were produced before the magistrate. They have been sent to judicial custody, and the DCP said the other legal procedure would follow, but they have been now trying to trace A4, who is Atul Subhash's wife's uncle.
Right, thank you, Nehal, for joining us and bringing us those details. Now, the leadership challenge continues in the India bloc after another ally has pushed Congress to justify it leading the alliance. Now, Jammu and Kashmir CM has said that natural disquiet can be seen in the India bloc and that the Congress needs to do more. Now, this of course comes as Omar Abdullah asks the Congress to justify its position and said that the Congress is not doing enough to earn its role. Listen in.
Look, by virtue of the fact that they're the India bloc is a national alliance.
Sure.
By virtue of being the single largest party in parliament and also having the leader of the opposition in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, the fact that they have a pan-India footprint which no other party can lay claim to, they are natural sort of leaders of an opposition movement. That said, that position has to be earned. It cannot be taken for granted. And therefore, I think the disquiet that you sense in some of the allies is because they feel that the position that has been given to the Congress is now, I mean, they're not doing enough to justify it or to earn it or to keep it. That's something the Congress might wish to consider. But otherwise, sort of a leader of the stature of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, you don't have in any other political party, let's face it. And she does play an important part in the India bloc. She may not do much with the day-to-day running of the Congress party, but when the India bloc comes together, she does play an important leadership role.
The cabinet expansion of the Devendra Fadnavis-led BJP government in Maharashtra is set to take place today, with the new ministers taking oath of office at a ceremony in Nagpur. This comes ahead of a week-long winter session of the state legislature that is slated to begin in Nagpur.
फोन वगैरह अभी तक कुछ नहीं आया, पर देखते हैं अभी क्या होता है। नहीं, कार्यकर्ता की लोगों की कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में की उनकी अपेक्षा तो रहती है, पर जो पार्टी और देवेंद्र जी डिसीजन लेंगे वो हमें मान्य रहेगा सब।
The ministerial expansion that is going to happen this afternoon in Nagpur, all eyes will be on the key portfolios, be it home, be it finance, revenue, amongst others. Of course, home is expected to stay with Devendra Fadnavis, but it is revenue and finance that has become a major point of contention. We saw that after Eknath Shinde let go of his claim on the position of chief ministership, sources suggested that he made it very clear that he would not want Ajit Pawar to hold finance if he is not holding home ministry. But it'll be interesting to see whether the Bharatiya Janata Party will agree to his demand, considering that the backlash, which has come from the NCP or a few leaders from the NCP has been very strong if in case Ajit Pawar is denied finance ministry. Besides that, we also saw that several important ministers may not get repeated this time around, and that is solely on the basis of the kind of performance and the efforts they put in the last election when it comes to campaigning, not for just their own constituency, but for the party across across. We've also seen how the leaders of all the three parties have time and again spoken about several parameters will be kept in mind when ministerial expansion will happen, and that includes the kind of statements made in public or the mobilization, the efforts put in the mobilization for Mahayuti as a whole and not just for that one particular political party. But while a majority of the leaders who were the ministers last time around are expected to repeat, but there are a few surprises in the bag is what sources suggest as well. A major contention for, or a major issue for Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena mostly would be about satisfying the majority of their MLAs. We saw that last time around when he had a good stake at the 43 ministerial berths in the Mahayuti 1.2 government, he had the support of 41 MLAs. This time around, the number of MLAs has increased, and hence to make sure that everyone is kept as happy as they can be kept, we can also see a pattern of rotation when it comes to giving ministerial berths, and that is something that might be on cards later on. But as of today, we're expecting as many as 20 ministerial berths to go with the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is the lion's share, followed by Shiv Sena, which might be having 11 to 12, and then NCP, which would in all likeliness be having 7 plus 2, the 2 being the state ministries.
Prime Minister Modi delivered a nearly 2-hour-long speech responding to the constitution debate. The Prime Minister said that the constitution makers' focus was on unity in diversity, and during his speech, the Prime Minister also tore into the Congress, targeting the Gandhi family. Prime Minister said it was the Congress which has attacked the constitution, and that Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi all did their bit. Listen to some of the key excerpts from his speech.
देश संविधान के 25 वर्ष पूरे कर रहा था, उसी समय